Coach Fetchko. We have a big quad coming up. 3 teams and you guys, 4 teams, 3 duels. Everybody wrestles everybody, right?
No. So we wrestle Mercyhurst round 1, and Gannon will wrestle Fairmont State round 1. Round 2, it will be Lake Erie versus Gannon, Mercyhurst versus Fairmont State. Round 3 is just Lake Erie versus Fairmont State, because Mercyhurst and Gannon, they wrestle, it's kind of a big duel for them, both of them, so they do it at a different time.
But you're wrestling everybody.
Yeah, we're wrestling everybody.
Listen,
yeah.
What's most important to me is you guys are wrestling everybody.
Yep.
We're going to do all the duels live.
Yep.
GOhioCasts, we'll do a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
People will be able to tune in. I'll shoot the links out. We'll put them on Facebook and Twitter, and it'll be out there. So all the duel meets are going to be live, but like 2 of them, really key dual meets for me. The Fairmont one, which will be last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably you guys match up the best against those of the 3 opponents, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who do you guys see having good matchups with, but as far as Lake Erie versus Gannon, Lake Erie versus Mercyhurst, and Lake Erie versus Fairmont State?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious ones on paper, there's a couple of ranked matchups with Mercyhurst, at 41. That's probably the biggest one on paper, but, it's going to be tough, from top to bottom, right? There's going to be a lot of good matchups, a lot of scraps. So we got to be ready to go. And then same thing with Gannon, there's going to be a couple of ranked matchups in that one, but again, just solid, all throughout the lineup. We have to be ready to go, and we got to perform well at all weights.
They have a couple All-Americans. Mercyhurst has a couple of returning All-Americans. Ohio kid, I know that. They have Ohio kids. Niffenegger.
Yep.
Who will Niffenegger wrestle in your lineup?
Corey Gammett.
So Gammett, Niffenegger will bump heads.
Yep.
If it lines up, whatever. But that would be one of my key matchups of the day. 2 All-Americans are going to hit there. What other big ones do you see against as far as Mercyhurst?
They have at 65, they have Dylan Walker, who's done really well. They have a guy at 97 who's a national qualifier in the past. So again, they're pretty solid all throughout. Their 33 is real tough. So I think it's going to be a fun, exciting duel, and really just looking forward to it.
Up and down the lineup, Gannon. Who do you like? Who are your matchups against Gannon? What could be, what could be the Niffenegger Gammett type matchup for that?
Yeah, I mean they got 149. We have Christian Small, who's highly ranked, and they have a guy who actually lost last year, I believe, in the match of being All-American by a point to Niffenegger last year at 41. He's up at 49 now, and we've wrestled him, but still, he's a super tough kid, right? And they got a couple other guys just up and down the lineup that, we got to be ready to go really at all times. There's no, I don't want to say, there's no off matches, there's no easy matches by any means. They're just solid, and so we got to step up and, be ready to perform. They
have a lot of PA guys. You have a lot of Ohio and Michigan guys, right? Definitely a clash of styles when you get the PA guys, right? We get Mercyhurst has got some Ohio dudes that are All-Americans that are pretty good. But what is the biggest clash of styles when you guys wrestle the PA schools, the PSAC schools, I guess we'd call them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Pennsylvania's known for their mat wrestling, especially top, But one thing that we do here is we train a lot on top and bottom. We spend a lot of time, probably twice a week, just on the mat alone. I think those are positions that are neglected a lot of places, and so you have to be able to get off the bottom, and you have to be able to ride and turn, right? Especially if you want to get bonus points. So, we spend a lot of time on the mat, so that way, we're not caught off guard when we do compete against these teams.
So Small injury defaulted after he knocks off the number 2 guy in the country from Parkside. He misses his matchup with Donathan. He lost to Donathan's brother in the NCAA finals. Doesn't get the matchup early with Donathan early on in the season. What was the injury? Why didn't you wrestle him in that match?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. First off, we didn't go there to not wrestle. We didn't go there with the intention to pull out of the tournament. That was not the case at all whatsoever. Something happened in that match, and as a coach, I would have been. I'm not doing my job. I would have put him back out there. I couldn't do it. That was a conversation him and I had. Christian's. He doesn't, shy away from any competition. We don't shy away from any competition. We're not about that. Every time we go to a tournament or step on that mat, we're planning the rest of the whole thing, right? The whole competition. So, something happened in that match, and I got to do what's best for my guy, And again, Christian and I talked, and there was just no way we could go back out there, or Christian could go back out there, and it is what it is. We wanted to see that matchup just as bad as they did, And, you know, again, we're not going to shy away from competition. I mean, we wrestled Zach Donathan last year 3 times. You know, we wrestled him in the conference finals, regional finals, and the national finals. You know what I mean? If we were afraid of competition, we wouldn't have wrestled him, you know, in the regional finals when we already had a win over him. We're not about that. You know what I mean? So, you know, do we want that match? Absolutely. And we'll get it eventually, you know, hopefully sooner than later.
Fairmont matchup, right? So we will see small in all 3 duels, hopefully, right? That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But Fairmont, give me what's the best Fairmont's going to bring, and what do you see as the best matchup?
They're a highly improved team from last year. They lost some duels last year that they avenged, you know, this year. You know, Coach G over there is, you know, he's a friend of mine and doing a great job. And they have a 141 pounder that is pretty tough. That, you know, is going to, you know, definitely test us for sure. So we got to be ready to go. But no, looking forward to that duel as well. Again, it's going to be a competitive duel.
Looked at the latest national rankings, and you got a really strong region, right? Number one team in the country is in your region. They host it, right?
Yeah.
And West Lib, I mean, your region's it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a really tough region. But getting a look at Wisconsin Parkside, like you guys got, how good is that? Because you don't see them a whole bunch, right?
No, we don't. I think at Midwest Classic is really the only other time we see them. So honestly, like I think we, as a staff, we put together a schedule, you know, about as good as we could have, to be honest with you. With the amount of competitions we have, we lowered that a little bit this year, but the quality is, you know, through the roof, right? Like, I mean, we're at the Findlay Open, which that just gets tougher and tougher every single year. Coach Nelson does a great job, you know, promoting that. Obviously, you know, we got this quad coming up. We have Midwest Classic, we have national duels, we have regional duels, we have home duels with Tiffin, Findlay, and West Lib. So, I mean, we're going to see the best of the best, you know, throughout the entire season, which is good.
You got to see Indy, UND.
Yeah, UND.
I mean, that was nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just, and then Grand Valley, obviously, resurgent. They had 3 champs.
They did great.
It was just, that was a great D2 Open for me to watch, like, to come to that and be like, first one I really got immersed in. I just don't know a whole lot about D2 wrestling, as you find out when I scream at you and ask you all these questions and they're ridiculous.
It's all right. I'll help you out.
I appreciate that. Biggest thing for you guys moving forward here, because we're going to go duels and then we're going to go Midwest Classic at UND, right? 16th, 17th of December.
Yep.
I mean, that's huge, right? That one is the big, I think that sets you up for your regional seeding, national seeding too, because there's a lot of national matchups. What do you guys got to do between here and there to kind of reach a training peak for you guys in mid-December?
Yeah, we need to have a good weekend this weekend, right? We need to go out there and perform at a high level, compete really hard, and you know, come back then, and we've got to stay healthy. That's huge, right? We've got a bunch of older guys in their 4th, 5th year, right? So 6th year. So we need guys to stay healthy. So I purposely have next weekend off. So in between our quad this weekend and Midwest, so that way we have a weekend off, we can rest up and just get another good training cycle in before Midwest, so we can, you know, that's when we really need to be ready to go for it. I'll be honest, last year, and we just did not perform that well at the Midwest Classic overall as a team. And, you know, for whatever reason, it is what it is, but, you know, so I made some adjustments to the schedule this year to make sure that, hey, we're ready to go for that, because you got Central Oklahoma there, you know, you have, you know, the best of the best, so we definitely need to be ready to go for that.
Does the D2 NCAA and D3 NCAA, do they have the same redshirt rule as NCAA D1 where they can wrestle in dual meets, redshirts can wrestle in dual meets? Do they have that rule?
No, so Division II, we talked about it a lot at the convention this summer, but we've not put that rule into effect yet. I hope we do in the near future, you know. And then D3, that's a different beast with
whole nother deal.
Yeah, whole nother deal. So
yeah. Last thing, I looked at the team list for Cliff Keene, right? Cliff Keene's this weekend. No D2 schools. Kearney's normally there, and then, you know, it's kind of a mixed bag who's gone the past. You and have talked about this in the past, but now the D1 coaches, they're not only they're not scheduling, they're not allowing D2s into D1 stuff. I know the Open at Michigan State's different, I understand that.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that before. How much does that kind of hurt you guys as far as scheduling D1s?
You know, it's the qualification process, right? And allocating spots in D1, it's a completely different formula than Division II and Division III, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, it's frustrating, but at the same time, I get it. You know, when D1 teams, they gotta do what's best for them, you know, to get their guys, you know, the national tournament. We gotta do what's best for us. And so, you know, I don't really like it, but I respect it. You know, I get it. You know, it doesn't mean I agree with it, but you know, it is what it is. And again, I just think because of the allocation process and the qualifying spots, they're so different. They gotta do what's best for them.
Do you guys still have the Cleveland State's not on? They're not doing it this year, are they?
No. So Josh and I kind of talked about that, you know, at the beginning of the year, and the dates just kind of weren't working out. You know, but you know, we'll probably try to get that back on the schedule next year. You know, they wrestled against us here at Lake Erie for Pin Leukemia Night last year. So hopefully next year we can go back to their place. You know, try to get it back on the schedule. You know, so but we'll see.
All right, starting at 11 a.m. on Saturday, 3 duels in a row. What is the order?
So 11 a.m. Lake Erie versus Mercyhurst and Gannon versus Fairmont State. And then we're just going to run straight through, right? So next round will be Lake Erie versus Gannon and Mercyhurst versus Fairmont State. And then the last round, Lake Erie versus Fairmont State.
And all your duels live streamed on GOhioCast. Free of charge.
By Zeb Miller.
Free of charge.
That's right.
Man with the face made for a radio.
And commentary.
There we go.
So.
All right, Coach, you got anything else for me?
No, I just appreciate you coming out.
Coach, thank you for the time. Good luck to you guys on Saturday.
Thank you.